We will take Todi. That is now, in Carnatic terms, I would mention this for us. Komala Rishabha, Shuddha Rishabha, Sadharana Gandhara, Shuddha Madhyama, Panchama, Shuddha Devta, and Kaishik Nishad. All the Komala Swaras, all the Swaras are Komala, Ri, Ga, Ma, Dha, and Ni. Of course, the Shadya and Panchama are taken for granted within inverted commas, because they were not so in the earlier days. They were also mutable notes. They were not immutable notes. There was a Vikrita Shadya, there was a Vikrita Panchama, etc. That's of course a very, what you call, a theory which is not called for at present here to be explained. So, Zare Kama Pada Niza, all chorus. In Hindustani music they call it Koma. Sare Kama Pada Niza. Now, the Rishabha and Madhyama and Devta are called Shuddha Swaras in Carnatic music, but I beg to differ. The terminology for in case of, and at least with reference to Ri and Da, to call them as Shuddha Rishabha and Shuddha Devta is not absolutely correct, because there is no scientific logical reason attached to what we now call as Shuddha Swaras at all. Whereas in the ancient theory, the Shuddha Swaras were self-designated notes, self-ordained notes. They were called Shuddha, or pure notes that were used to sing sacred music, this music of the song and chants, which forms as it were the talisman for the beginning of all, the evolution of all our Indian music in general. So, now I would like to call it as only as chorus, or say, put it very correctly, Dvishruti Rishabha, Dvishruti Devata. A definite entity called Todi. It has got optimum bhakti or say a feeling of pleasure. It's pleasing because the Ri and Da go together, Ga and Ni go together, Ma and Ni go together. That is, they are bosom friends, technically called Samvadi pass, consonantal pass, not continental pass. Consonantal pass. So Ri, Da, Ga, Ni, Mani, Masa, Vada, Zapa, Sama, Rigama, Mapagama, Rigasa, Rigama, Sarigama, Mapagama, Rigasa, Rigama, Gama, Rigasa, Rigama, Mapagama, Rigasa, Rigama, Gama, Rigasa, Riza, Gariza, Giriza, Riza, Gariza. This must be very familiar to you. See, the same fundamental principles govern all systems of music, though the extent of their operation in each system may differ. The same scale, the same Todi, you call it differently, I call it Todi, somebody calls it in the musical West it is known as by some other name, some mode like that. But the melody that is created out of it, that the entity which is had out of that component of the composition of the 7 notes is something universal. Now take for Todi. There is the Gita, Arere Dasharatha Raja. I am not singing the Gita, it's a long composition. Gita means as simple melody, that is epitome of the raga, epitome of the miniature. The child is the father of man, I will say. The child is the father of man means what? Even when the child is born, it is born as a full entity, with the 2 hands, 2 legs, 5 fingers in each hand, 5 fingers in both. Not that it lacks in one and it will develop of its own account with the growth of years, not anything like that. It is something awkward, unthinkable. So the child is the father of man. A raga in Todi, in a Swara, in a Gita, in a Jatiswara, in a Swarajati, in a Tana Varna, in a Kriti, a simple Kriti, an elaborate Kriti, and a Pada Javali Tillano, like that. It gets manifested, the Todi raga gets manifested, the abstract Todi, the all-pervasive nature of the Nada Todi, which could be identified with a particular reference to the particular swaras taken by it. It gets manifested in it. It's a different container, Saramata. It's a small container, a big container, that is something like that. And it takes the shape of the container. If it is cylindrical, that is liquid, in that color, the container will have the cylindrical shape. If it is hexagonal shape, it takes that shape. So, according to that compositional physical structure and the physical format of the composition, and certain do's and don'ts that have to be what you call that have to be analyzed with reference to the particular composition, the raga takes shape. That's why it gets crystallized into different forms of definite entities. I am only annotating that sentence. And musical compositions are nothing but raga models of different quantum, of different densities. In some compositions, the raga is it's not elaborate treatment that has been given in that composition. In some compositions, the raga has been dealt with elaborately, so the density comes from composition to composition. Of course, I will try to demonstrate all these. I am annotating these 2 sentences. Musical compositions are nothing but raga models of different quantum with different densities. And ragas are nothing but crystallization into concretized forms of definite shapes with definite entities. So these 2 things are complementary to one another. Perhaps they mean one and the same thing. Now, I will sing what is called a Jatiswara, a composition which particularly belongs to the dance music, Bharatanatyam music for the Bharatanatyam. It's a subject, it's a colossal subject. Now, you see, Jatiswaras, that is also called Swara Pallavi. It doesn't have lyric at all. It has got only solfeggio, amalgam of solfa phrases. Jatiswara, a composition, a musical composition, having dhatu, matu and tada. Dhatu, matu, samayuktam, geetam, ityuchyate, vlehi, tatra nadatmako, dhatu, matu, akshara. What is that dhatu? Any musical composition must have these 3 elements. Dhatu, it must have a musical setting. It must have a musical setting. And then matu, it must have a libretto or the text. The text may be spoken words or even the solfeggio itself, the solfa letters themselves. So that's the thing. And it must be bound by the rhythmic movement, controlled by what is known as a tada, the time measure, which measures time. And how a man has got his own individuality, the ragas and talas also have got that. Every raga has got its own individuality, has got its own specific qualities. Some ragas are, say, eccentrics. Some ragas are hard matters to track. Some ragas are too plain. They are by themselves very clear to the singer or the listener. But some ragas, it's a difficult man to tackle. Some ragas are definitely difficult to tackle. The same way, these talas also, some talas are chosen talas are free to negotiate, or free to manipulate, or free to execute the mode of reckoning musical time. But some talas are very difficult in the mode of angas, the sequence of the presentation of the limbs of the tala, the total number of aksharakaras of the tala, the tempo of the tala in which it has got to be executed, etc. So, I can compare a human individual with a raga and a Rada on every phase of it. Now I will just sing the Todi, Jati Swara in Todi. How the raga is built there. Primarily a composition intended for Bharatanatyam, being included in a sequence of items of the Bharatanatyam concert. You can just could have realized the very movement, the swara movement, the phrase movement of the phrasing itself, it suggests some gesticulations, the gesticulation of the limbs, movement of the limbs, what is called nritta. Nritta is something and nritya is some other thing. Nritya is showing abhinaya, that is through gesticulations, gestures, the meaning contained in the